Hey guys, so I went live last night on my Facebook and then I had went live on my TikTok. Now I'm gonna put this here for YouTube and people can just do whatever they want with it. There's a lot going around about me right now saying I'm in active meth addiction, which I am not. I took a drug test. Everything was negative except for THC. I tested positive for that, which I showed proof of my medical marijuana card. I was told that I am lying about being in a domestic violence situation. I'm told that I will do and say anything for attention and just to be in the spotlight. The reason why I raise awareness about domestic violence is so that other women know that they're able to get out alive. Because when you're in that situation, you're not really thinking, am I going to get out alive? It's when is he going to kill me? So, yesterday I ended up driving down to my hometown about 40 minutes away, and I went to the police department that had handled the domestic violence problems a few years ago. So I'm gonna read the two main ones. Um, so yeah, I'm just gonna show you right here how it says, Douglas Township Police Department. It was approved for release. It's legit. This one was, the reporting officer was Officer Andrew Mathias. So this document is K-13-10-204. On Friday, October 11th, 2013 at 20:26 hours, I received a call for a domestic in progress at 1311 East Philadelphia Ave, Apartment D, Gilbertsville, PA. The victim, Lauren Flicker, stated her boyfriend, Jeffrey Cordwell, assaulted her. I was advised by radio that Cordwell left on foot towards Wilson Ave. Ambulance 332 was dispatched to treat the victim. Upon arrival, I spoke to the victim, Lauren Flicker. Flicker stated she was in bed sleeping in her apartment today, and at approximately 5:30 hours, she woke up screaming due to having a nightmare. Jeffrey Cordwell was asleep next to the victim, and he woke up to her screaming. At this point, the victim stated Cordwell started yelling at her and he pushed the victim across the room. Cordwell then slapped the victim across the face twice. Cordwell then slammed the victim's head into the floor. The victim told me Cordwell said if I did not stop screaming, he would put a sock in my mouth, tie me up, and kill me. The victim also said if I ever got him arrested again, he would have a family member come after me. Cordwell also said when he got out, he would kill the victim. The victim also told me Cordwell would burn her house down while she was sleeping. The victim stated Cordwell left the apartment at 20:20 hours tonight. Cordwell came back to the apartment and he and the victim got into another argument. At this point, the victim called police and Cordwell ran. Corporal Steffi and Officer Dykey searched the area. Cordwell had not been located as of this time. I observed a fresh bruise on the left side of the victim's forehead. I also observed the victim's lip was split open in two places from being slapped. There was also a bruise on the victim's right forearm. The victim signed off for any medical treatment with Ambulance 332. Victim booklet was explained and signed by Flicker. I transported Lauren Flicker to a friend's house. I will not give the name and location of that person, but if this person ever sees this, thank you again for helping me that night. Flicker did not want to stay in the apartment tonight. The back seat was searched before and after the transport criminal complaint was completed. I will request a warrant under the section 2711 of Title 18 of the PA Crimes Code. Now, this one is a lot. This one's pretty long, and this one is pretty emotional. I think I'll be okay reading it today. This will be my fourth time reading it, so hopefully it'll be okay. Again, Douglas Township Police Department, it was approved for release. The reporting officer in this one was Officer Andrew Peretta. This docket number is K-13-09-184. On Thursday, September 12, 2013, at approximately 22:40 hours, the Douglas Township Police Department received a radio call for a physical domestic that occurred at 1311 East Philadelphia Ave, Apartment D, Gilbertsville, PA. The assigned responded along with DTPD Officer Klemko, and upon arrival, the female victim, Lauren Flicker, was standing outside the residence along with her mother, Lori. Lori, who was visibly upset, told police that she received text messages from her daughter, Lauren Flicker, who told her that she had been physically assaulted by her boyfriend, Jeffrey Cordwell. After receiving the text messages, Lori responded out to Lauren Flicker's apartment, and after seeing injuries on Lauren Flicker, she called police. The assigned spoke to Lauren Flicker, and she reported that on Thursday, September 12, 2013, at approximately 18:30 hours, she was physically assaulted by her boyfriend, Jeffrey Cordwell. Lauren Flicker reported that she didn't call police at that time because she was afraid of Jeffrey Cordwell, who had threatened to kill her by taking her outside and hanging her. Lauren Flicker reported that they were arguing because she had been out with her mother earlier in the day, and Jeffrey Cordwell found some letters from her ex-boyfriend while she and her mother were gone. Lauren Flicker reported that Jeffrey Cordwell was drinking while she was gone, and when she returned home, Jeffrey Cordwell started to argue with her about the letters he found, and where she had been and who she was with. Lauren Flicker reported that Jeffrey Cordwell's temperament quickly escalated, and he subjected her to unwanted physical contact and repeated threats of violence. Lauren Flicker reported that during the physical altercation, Jeffrey Cordwell pushed her, pulled her hair, kicked her, struck her in the head with his hands, used a broom as a weapon to strike her in the head, causing the metal broom handle to bend and the broom to break, bit her on the arm, tossed her around, causing her to strike her elbows and knees on the ground, grabbed her by the neck, choking her, making it difficult for her to breathe and swallow, and repeatedly slammed her head onto the wall and the floor, causing her to see stars and lose consciousness. Lauren Flicker also reported that when she was trying to leave, she fell to the floor, at which time Jeffrey Cordwell pulled her purse, lifting her up by the purse strap, causing her ribs to hurt, and he started yelling at her that he would kill her if she called police and that she wasn't allowed to leave. While speaking to police, Lauren Flicker was complaining of head pain and pain to her torso. The assigned observed redness and swelling around Lauren Flicker's right eye, behind her right ear. She had a bump on the rear of her head, bruising on both of her elbows and her left knee. Lauren Flicker also had redness and bruising to the left side of her torso near her ribs, her left hip, the left rear of her back near her shoulder blade, and she had a bite mark on her left forearm. Lauren Flicker reported that Jeffrey Cordwell was inside the residence asleep, and when she let police into the residence, there was a broken broom, broken glass, and cigarette butts, ashes, and an ashtray on the floor, and it was apparent that a physical altercation had recently occurred there. Jeffrey Cordwell was asleep on the couch, and near him was a glass pipe of the type commonly used to smoke marijuana and lying on the couch near him. Police woke Jeffrey Cordwell up to speak to him about what had happened, and he denied any wrongdoing, and he started yelling at Lauren Flicker and Lori Pistoia, who were standing outside. When he was asked about the pipe, both he and Lauren Flicker reported that the pipe belonged to Lauren Flicker. Jeffrey Cordwell was advised by police that he was under arrest for domestic violence, and he was taken into custody and placed into handcuffs. Since Jeffrey Cordwell hadn't been wearing any shoes while he was sleeping, he requested that he be allowed to put a pair on. Lauren Flicker got a pair of shoes for Jeffrey Cordwell to put on, and she loosened the laces so he could slip his feet into them, since he was still handcuffed. After Jeffrey Cordwell put his shoes on, he became argumentative with Lauren Flicker and made a comment to her along the lines of, "She better watch out," and he tried pulling away from police heading towards Lauren Flicker aggressively. Police told Jeffrey Cordwell to stop his behavior several times, but he ignored police commands and continued to try to pull away. Police told Jeffrey Cordwell several times to stop resisting, but he continued to attempt pull away, causing police to use physical force to overcome his resistance until he was placed in the patrol car. While in the patrol car, Jeffrey Cordwell continued yelling comments to Lauren Flicker. Jeffrey Cordwell was transported by Officer Klemko in DTPD Patrol Car 91-5 to the Pottstown Police Station for housing until he could be processed and arraigned. After Officer Klemko, the scene was secured, Gilbertsville ambulance arrived to check out Lauren Flicker's injuries. The assigned took pictures of Lauren Flicker's injuries, and he provided her with the victim's right booklet and explained her options with getting a PFA. Gilbertsville ambulance transported Lauren Flicker to Pottstown Memorial Center, and she was diagnosed with a concussion. The glass pipe was taken as contraband, and the broken broom was taken as evidence, and they were both logged onto separate DTPD property receipts and secured in DTPD Temporary Evidence Locker T-4. Officer Klemko will cite Lauren Flicker for the pipe, and the assigned filed charges on Jeffrey Cordwell for 2702A1 aggravated assault, 907A a possession of an instrument of crime, 2706A1 terroristic threats, 2902A1 unlawful restraint, 2701A1 simple assault. Now, I will never prove myself to random ass strangers ever again. The slandering about me needs to stop. So now if I have proven myself all day yesterday, then that means that I continued to do that before too. But after this day, it's no more at all. I had to relive the most painful night of my life because I was called a liar. Someone tried to murder me and take my life. So now I'm gonna make something of it. Because I got out. I could have fucking died that night. But I didn't. I really think that people really need to get it together. Maybe just keep their opinions to themselves. If you don't like what you're seeing on the internet, just block, and move on with your life. There's no reason to stop and cause people more misery. There's no reason to sit there and call people a liar when you know nothing about the situation. You can't go off of he said, she said. You have to go off of black and white, which I provided all day yesterday, but people are trying to shut me up and hide the truth. So here's this video. Do whatever the hell you want with it. I don't care anymore. But I promise you that I have taken legal action against other parties, and I'm done with it. So if you keep slandering me, just know that it's not going to end well for you. And that's not a threat. I'm not sitting here threatening to hex you or to come after you. I promise that legal action will be done from here on out. As of like 2 days ago, it's from here on out. So, keep harassing me, please. I can take a hit.